Well, in 2026, which is only just over a month away, I will turn 70. Hard to believe, isn't it, with a face like this? But I have to tell you that 2 years ago, when I was 68, I was 20 kilos overweight. I was on a string of medications as long as your arm. I had a fatty liver. I was pre-diabetic. I had sky-high blood pressure. I just had, the list went on and on. My body was full of inflammation. I had aches and pains everywhere. It hurt to do anything, and my weight was causing me real issues. I was smart enough at the time to play out the trajectory of my life, and I thought the future is not looking good. I had two choices. I could say, well, this is just the way it is now. You're getting older. Or I could say, no, that's not the way it is now. I can change. You see, folks, you always have a choice when it comes to your health. The choice is yours. I want to share with you the things that have worked for me, because I have totally turned my health around, and I feel that my whole life has been transformed in the space of 2 years. Not only have I lost 20 kilos, but I've kept it off now for 18 months. I'm off every single medication. I'm a very active person for my age. I go walking, kayaking, and a whole lot of activities that I love to do and enjoy. So I want to share with you in this video as you go into 2026. I don't know what age you'll turn this year. Maybe you're older than me, or maybe you're a bit younger than me. It doesn't really matter. The principle is the same. And I want to share with you some of the things that made the biggest difference for me in transforming my life. Now, I'm not saying these will be the same for you, but this is my experience. These are the things that I worked, because I have been crazy busy trying a whole lot of things, and anything I heard about or read about, I decided to give it a try. But I found that some things really worked for me. And in this video, I want to share what those things are. Number one for me was changing what I eat. And I think this is fundamental to everybody. While I said that not everything I say will apply to everyone, I'm pretty sure that this is going to be a universal one for you. You've got to change what you eat. What you eat matters, and it matters a lot, and it's going to greatly affect your health. And you've got to face up to the fact we've been told so many lies about our diet. We've been told to trim the fat. We've been told to cut out the salt, and so on and so on and so on. We've been told that cholesterol is bad. All these lies we've been told, but it's different. What I did is that I started the carnivore diet 2 years ago. When I first considered the carnivore diet, to me it just seemed so extreme. I thought to myself, you couldn't possibly do it, and you couldn't possibly sustain it. I just thought you couldn't do that. But here I am 2 years down the track, and I am doing it, and I continue to do it. I found that the carnivore diet is the ultimate elimination diet. It just changes everything in so many ways, and it's a very simple diet, and it works for me. Will it work for you? I think it probably would, but the only way you're going to find that out is if you try it for yourself. But let me give you some of the major things that I believe about diet after my 2 years of experience. Number one is you've got to cut out the sugar, and sugar is in everything. So you've got to radically cut out sugar. And remember that many carbs in your body are going to ultimately be processed by your body into sugar. Even things like rice will become sugar in your body. So you've got to cut out the sugar. Then you've got to cut out the processed food. All the food that comes in a packet or a box and it has a barcode on it. Anything like that has been cooked in a factory. It's been cooked by a corporation. And I want to tell you that the corporations and factories do not cook like you cook at home. They cook in a very different way, and they use predominantly seed oils for their flavoring because they are cheap and they make the food taste good and they make it addictive. They will usually add to the seed oil some sugar just to make it more addictive. You got to cut that out. So the big three to cut out, I think, are sugar, processed foods, and seed oils. If you can cut those three out and focus on eating whole foods, that is, foods with just one ingredient, animal products particularly, eat fresh whole food. If you're going to eat vegetables, then eat fresh. One ingredient food. It's going to transform your life just by changing what you eat. That is the biggest one. Now for me, it was carnivore. I would say give it a try. Before you knock it, before you say you couldn't do it, give it a try and see for yourself. Okay, so that was my first pillar, change what you eat. My second pillar, I think, is almost just as important, and that is to simply get outside. You've got to get out of your house into the fresh air. Now that sounds simple, and it is. It just means you've got to get outside. Let me tell you, friends, outside is where the magic happens. Outside is where you're going to get the fresh air. You're going to get the vitamin D from the sun. You're going to get all the benefits of being in nature and feeling the wind on your face. Just get outside. It's going to transform your life. If you can spend some time every day outside, you're winning. Now, what you do when you get outside, that's up to you. I tell you what I do. I go walking every day. I like to walk. I go kayaking quite often. We've recently moved to the heart of the Gippsland Lakes where I'm in kayaking heaven. So I've been upping the kayaking since we've lived here. And I also sometimes go for a bike ride. So anything that gets you outside, what is it for you that would get you outside? A hobby, an activity, you play golf, even lawn bowls if that's your thing, but anything that gets you outside, that's where the transformation is going to happen. It's going to happen when you get outside. So that's pillar 2. Pillar 3 is the joy of moving your body. Now this is obviously related to getting outside because when you're outside you're going to be moving your body. But I'll tell you what I do as regards moving my body even when I'm inside. And one is some time on the rebounder each morning. And the rebounder for me is just a way of kickstarting my day. I'm only on there for 10 minutes a morning. And I jump and move my body and move all my limbs, and it clears the lymphatic system, and it's so good for you in so many ways. But it's just, for me, it's just celebrating the joy of being alive and the joy of movement. I love my 10 minutes on the rebounder every morning. Pillar 4 might be one that surprises you. It's heat and cold. In other words, sauna and cold plunge. Now, I made some investment here. I invested in a home sauna and I invested in a cold ice bath plunge unit that I've got out the back that I use each day. I invested in those for the sake of my health. So each morning I spend about 20 minutes in the sauna, and then I go immediately into my ice bath and I stay in that icy water for 2 minutes, and then when I'm finished in the ice bath, I spend some time walking around barefoot on the grass, allowing the fresh air and the sunshine of the morning to dry my body so I don't use a towel. You see, one of the issues that I face is an increased coronary risk because I've got a high incidence of coronary disease in my family, and I have a high CAC score. So I'm wanting to do anything that will reduce my risk of a heart attack, and both sauna and cold plunge significantly reduce your risk of a heart attack, and that's why I got into those. But they have other benefits too. The cold plunge just energizes your whole system. You feel this when you get out of the water each morning. You just feel incredibly alive. Like every nerve on in your body is fully alive, and then the sunlight hits your body as you come out of the cold, and there is nothing to match that. It feels magnificent. It produces brown fat, it helps you lose weight, It helps you build energy in your body to fight disease, so it increases your immune system. There are just so many benefits in doing that. Now, you're probably sitting listening to me thinking, oh, I couldn't do that. Well, that's exactly where I was when I started cold plunge. I looked at that and I thought, no way am I getting into cold water. No, 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 no. This is not happening. This is not me. I'll do anything else. But do you know where I started? I started with just having a few seconds of cold water at the end of my shower in the morning. And I did that for a week, gradually building up from 5 seconds to 10 seconds to half a minute, you know, small steps. And I soon found that I could tolerate that quite well. And then when I first had a cold plunge, I just used, you know, tap temperature water. So it was still cool, but it wasn't cold. And then in time, I added a refrigeration unit to make the water extra cold. And now I have it right down at about 7 or 8 degrees Celsius each morning. And I stay in there for 2 minutes. So you might be saying, well, I don't have a cold plunge at my place. Try the cold shower. Try just a few seconds of cold shower at the end of your warm shower in the morning and notice how you feel and notice how it changes you. Pillar 5 for me is something a bit quieter and a bit gentler, a bit easier on the body, I guess, and you might be pleased with that. But pillar 5 for me is to spend some time in quiet each day. Now this can be linked with being in the sauna or being out for a walk, so you can join things together here. But I like to have about 10 minutes a day where I just speak out loud all of the things that I am grateful for. I just say, today I am thankful for the fresh air that I breathe. I'm thankful for the house I live in, for my family, for my health, for the blessings I've had this week. To speak those out, you see, that is powerful. What it does is it gets your mind off the negative onto the positive. It changes your perspective and it gives you a powerful beginning to the day. Look, I think it's one of the simplest things, but one of the most important. A simple time of gratitude. Try it for a month, just a few minutes a day, and see how you go. Linked with the gratitude, of course, is any sort of meditation, and different strokes for different folks, I guess, but find some sort of meditation program, whether you use one of the many great apps. I use Calm and I use Insight Timer as 2 of the apps that I use. But to embrace meditation in some form, keep it simple, keep it real, keep it doable, and see how it changes your life. This reduces your cortisol, your stress hormone, and that's going to give you more immunity, more strength, and a more positive outlook. You're just going to feel better. As soon as you start to quiet your mind and focus on the present and focus on your breathing, you're going to change your whole inner sense of calm. Along with this, I've also added in some breath work. And of late, I've been using breathwork by Wim Hof, the Iceman, and he has some great breathing exercises. He has an app on your phone you can get, just called the Wim Hof Method, I think it's called. It's free and it'll give you the timers and so on for his breathwork. But look, there's many forms of breathwork. Find one that works for you and you'll be amazed. Something as simple as breathing can change your life. I've found this to be true in so many things. It's the simplest of things that can have the biggest impact. Okay, I've got one pillar to go. Before I get to pillar 6, let me just invite you to consider becoming a member of this channel. It's only $3 a month and you get a whole list of benefits. And for members of the channel, every resource on my website that I have for sale is available totally free just for being a member of the channel. There's other benefits you get. You get members own videos and so on. Have a look at that. Just press the join button down below. Let's get back to our final pillar, pillar 6. And this is to put all these different steps that I've talked about that you want to include in your health program, put them into a morning routine that you do each morning. You see, I've found myself that the key to anything I do in regards to my health is consistency. You've got to not just do it for a day or two and give up. You've got to do it day in, day out, week in, month out. You've got to keep going and be consistent with whatever you do. And the easiest way to do that is to form a morning routine. So I have a morning routine that takes me about 90 minutes to go through. I do it, 6 days a week. I have 1 day for rest, but I do it 6 days a week. It includes most of the things that I've talked about here. And if you're interested in that, at the end of the video, I'll leave a link above to a video where I explain my morning routine in detail and show you what I do and how much time I spend on each thing. But look, you've got to work out a program for yourself. Find something that works for you, that is giving you the benefits that you want for your health. So let me wrap up by saying to you folks, I'm turning 70. You're never too old. You're never past it. It doesn't matter what health conditions you are up against. You can beat them and you can change the trajectory of your life. You can live these later years not with walking frames and old folks homes and all of that crap and medications and doctors, and I don't want to go that road, and I really believe you don't either. And the future can be so different if you make a decision. It doesn't matter how old you are or what stage of life you're at. If you'll begin to make some changes, start with what you eat and follow through with what works for you, you can absolutely transform your life. Have a look at all my resources on my website. As I say, they are free for members. Have a look at the other things that I've got listed below this video. I've got some good links there to some products that might help you in this journey. But look, thanks for watching today. Check out my routine video above, and I will see you on the next video. And until then, stay healthy, stay happy, and stay calm. God bless you.